The Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub and Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub and Grill. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us. And Coach Tom Sawyer, always a pleasure to have you here after a win. I know that you're very happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun. I mean, it's fun to come down here anyway, but you know, it's especially exciting after a win and the way we won, and it was a perfect day for college football, and all parts worked well, and I'm very excited.
You pretty much have the game in hand all the way through. Obviously, that's got to be a big thing for you as well, and to play that well in front of your home fans is pretty good too.
Yeah, it is. You know, coming home is special, and you know, we struggled last year at home, and that's something that we're not used to, and we don't ever want to get used to. So to start a new streak at home and to really play well in front of our home crowd and our people, and you know, it's a big part of our program, and so our kids took a big step this week.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights of the Winona State win over Minot State.
Yeah, we had a lot of them. It was really a lot of fun, and you know, the Carter McCauley, I mean, was unbelievable. I mean, he obviously set two school records with a 53-yarder and also a 52-yard or 54-yarder. Yeah. So, you know, I think that was a big part of our game, was to get him going again, and now you're starting to see that. So that's a lot of fun. Big catch here. I believe this is Alan May, and you know, he had a big day for us a week ago with 11 catches, and then had scored over, you know, a 60-yard touchdown there, and Jack Nelson put that right on his hands. So that was really fun, and he had some fun with it as well. You know, we had a couple, 5 turnovers, I think, total in the game. That was Mike Imperiale there with that first, or one of the interceptions, and I was giving him a hard time for falling down there, and he said he didn't have any moves to go any farther anyway, but it's kind of fun.
There, kind of Johnny on the spot. You had one of your linemen cover up a fumble.
Yeah, Jack just kind of froze there for a second, and the ball came out of his hands. Usually pretty sure-handed, but Ben Reinhardt's jumped on that one, one of our guests from last week.
Right, that's right. And then here, one interception that Jack Nelson threw. I think it was only one that he had.
He had two.
Or did he have
two? He had
okay.
two. And yeah, he didn't have a great day, but he still threw for over 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. This is Andrew Spencer, a kid that we talked about the first week. We talked about how explosive he is and electric he is, and didn't have a great opener at Moorhead, but really played well this game, obviously with the interception right on the goal line, and you know, to stop that drive.
Here's a one-handed interception against you. Not much you can do about that.
No, that's a great catch. You know, that was you see that in the NFL a couple times a year, but yeah, it's stuck on. I want to check for, you know, Fred Bolitnikoff glue from back in the old days, some stickum. But no, the kids played really well, and you could see guys pursuing to the football, and defense was running all over the place and causing and creating problems for their quarterback and also their running back. You know, again, another, you know, we were under 100 yards rushing. So across the middle here, Josh Mikas, you can tell he's starting to get healthy again and opening up his speed a little bit. Had a nice touchdown catch there. Then also, I think we'll see the 2-point conversion he had too, which was another great catch. And
great throw by Jack Nelson.
Perfect. I mean, he teardropped that thing right over that, you know, 6'3" corner, and Josh went up and got it. So that was a great catch. And he didn't have any other space. I mean, he got one. It was good in college. It wouldn't have been good in the pros.
Here, I think that's the 54-yarder, which broke Carter McCauley's record that he set earlier in the game.
Yeah, it was really cool. You know, and the former record was 47 yards, and we had that a couple times. Colin Fahey had it, and so did I believe Steve Opkenorth had the same distance, and so it was fun to. I didn't really look. I just saw that we were inside the 40-yard line, so I'm going, he's good, and so it was really fun for us, and to, you know, it's fun to work with those guys, and to have that kind of day is fun for Carter.
Well, let's start off by talking about Carter McCauley, because I think it was in the press conference afterwards we found out that he's actually hit a 63-yarder in practice, and so the question was posed to you: would you actually trust him in a game for 60 yards?
Yeah, I would actually. It just has to be the right conditions. The conditions have to be right, and the situation of the game has to be right, because you also have to think about it on the other side, that if we don't get it, they're getting the ball at midfield. So in this particular game that we just had, you know, to kick a 53, 54-yarder, our defense was playing exceptional. So, you know, to give a ball up at that point, I didn't feel like it was that critical because our defense was playing so well. So I always have to weigh both sides, but definitely he's got the leg for it and the conditions are right. I'm going to give him a shot.
Now, obviously, it's just one game, but from this, how much does that help your offense to know that even though they might go 3 and out or whatever, if they can get the ball kind of inside that kind of 50-yard range or so, that you'll still be able to get points on the board?
Well, it's a little more comforting. You know, we want touchdowns, and they all want touchdowns. But, you know, to know that we have a great chance to score and get points, it kind of expands your red zone or green zone, we call it. You expand that a little bit out, and when you got a guy that can get you 3, then you're not punting from there. You're not going for 4th and 7. Take the points and get out of there, and that's been really good for us, because then you can flip the field even more. Instead of giving them the ball at the 40, you kick off. Our starting spot right now is the 27-yard line, because he's kicking the ball in the end zone too. So both of those things can be really positive.
One more question about Carter McCauley, because we don't ever talk about kickers hardly ever on the show. But I know that you said that you kind of worked with him in the offseason because he didn't have such a great year freshman year. What were some of the things that you talked about him with or did with him during the offseason?
Yeah, it was really very simple, to be honest with you. It was really trying to get him to understand, one, is that we're all in this together. And, if he was going to make a commitment to us, I was going to make a personal commitment to him. And so he and I just worked one-on-one, and we spent a lot of time on mental toughness things. We do drills now that are mental as well as they are physical, and really trying to put the whole package together about swing planes and power force, and just try to educate him on that position, not just swinging and kicking the ball. And it's paid off, and mostly it's confidence and to know that he and I are on the same page, and got his swing back. And he also went and got some professional help from some former NFL kickers out in San Diego. His family took him out there this summer, and so he got some professional training on the kicking side, and then I really worked on the mental side, and so far so good. And even this week he was the NSIC Special Teams Player of the Week. So it's a great start for his second year, so I'm really excited about his future.
All right, I want to talk about one of the highlights that we didn't see on the replays, and that was Jarrett Wood picks up a fumble, 76 yards down the field. If not for one player and one maybe missed block, he would have scored for a touchdown.
Yeah, and I was laughing because, well, I'm going to pick on him for the rest of his life about it because he didn't get all the way to the end zone. But more importantly, as he took off running, Ian Murray was right there, and he actually bumped the kid who tackled him. Right. So I don't know if Ian was really trying to block for him, or that if he was getting close, maybe he thought that Jared would pitch it to him. There might have been some controversy going on there. I'm not sure, but no, it's really fun when an outside linebacker scoops and takes off like that. It's almost more fun afterwards now that we could pick on him than if he actually would have went in, because then I wouldn't be able to talk to him for 2 weeks because he'd be too cocky about it.
All right. One more question. Let's talk about the defense in general. I mean, that was a great defensive performance. Yeah. Talk about what you have. What your thoughts on the defensive play?
Well, you saw it started up front. Jeff Brown played exceptional. Kenny Greer's getting it going now. Dylan Till played great at the nose guard. Guys like Loudon Wood and Steven Zopp came in and did some nice things. And the guys are starting to understand movement and play, and they got off blocks and made plays. And all of a sudden, Colin Corcoran's running free, and Ian Murray's making some hits, and we brought our safeties down on some blitzes, and really, if we tackled a little better, it would have even been even better. But overall, they're just playing at a faster pace because from week 1 to week 2, they now know and understand their assignments just that much better, so you can play a little bit more free and a little bit more fast.
All right, it's time to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we will talk with quarterback Jack Nelson. That's coming up right after this. The Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub and Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub and Grill.
Join HBC Sports' Extra Point one-camera coverage of high school football and soccer throughout the fall, presented by Lewiston Auto. In addition to our Football Night Crew broadcasts, Extra Point will bring you 8 games from the gridiron and 9 games from the pitch. For the full slate of games, simply visit hbci.com/sports to find out when your team will be on the field. That's Extra Point coverage of HBC Sports presented by Lewiston Auto, all fall, only on TV 25.
If you're looking for Winona State on the gridiron this fall, HBC has you covered. Every moment for all 5 WSU home games can be seen on TV 25, presented by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. To find out who the Warriors will be facing off with at Maxwell Field at Warriors Stadium throughout the season, simply visit hbci.com/sports for game dates and kickoff times. All the touchdowns, big hits, and exciting moments of Winona State football can be found on HBC Sports, presented by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina.
This is HBC Job Finder. Masterson Staffing has immediate openings in Winona, Stockton, and Wabasha for first, second, and third shifts. Positions as sewing and mending techs, machine relief operators, and general production labor available. Pay up to $12.50 an hour. Paid weekly with benefits. Call 507-252-8481 for detail. Email your resume to rochester@mastersonstaffing.com. For a full description, go to jobs.hbci.com.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show, presented by Jefferson Pub and Grill here on HBC TV 25. And Coach Sawyer, we're going to start talking about offense.
Yeah, it's really fun to talk about offense, especially when you got the quarterback, Jack Nelson, here. Jack, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Coach.
You know, big day last week. We got it going offensively and put some points up on the board. What was the best part of your day?
I think it was exactly what you talked about, putting points on the board finally. Got some good drives together, and we were able to punch it in a couple times down there.
You know, the first week, you threw 11 times to Alan May, and this time you hit him for a 60-some-yard touchdown. What's the connection going on between you and that kid from Adams?
Well, you know, we are roommates, you know. And, yeah,
oh, that's
basically been roommates for 3 years now. But, you know, he's just a great guy. He took me under his wing when I came in here. And, you know, he's always getting open, it seems like. We're always running those under routes and trying to get open. And he likes getting the ball thrown to him a lot.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit about your kind of pass selection, because you seem to have a lot of different options at wide receivers, and I think in most of your 300-yard games you're throwing to 10, 11 different receivers. You know, basically, how do you decide? What are you looking at when you're looking downfield?
Oh, that's just all based on our offense and what our read progression takes us to. If I have to throw 11 times to Allen in a game just on what the defense is giving to us, I will. But if we're able to spread the ball around a lot, that's just how the defense is giving it to us.
You know, you got 5 different seniors really, and then we got kids like Justin Bergeron and a couple other younger guys too. But when you look out there and you're standing back there behind the center, and you look out and you see all that talent, what's going through your mind when you start reading that defense?
You know, I'm just trying to stick to what I'm supposed to be doing. But sometimes I have to, like during the game the other day, sometimes you got to throw it up and give them a chance to go make a play. But I'm always trying to be detail oriented, trying to put the perfect ball on guys and everything, making the job easy on them. But sometimes they can make the job easy on me.
You know, one of the things is you know, the preparation that goes into play quarterback in this league is unbelievable. Talk a little bit about your pregame prep that you and Coach Keller go through during the week to get you ready for that game.
Yeah, we tend to get into a little bit of not arguments. We try to talk a lot about during the week. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call them arguments, but we like to pick each other's brains a lot. And sure. he puts in a lot of work, and I also put in a lot of work just trying to understand what the defense is trying to give us each week. I mean, switches each week what the defense is trying to give to us. So, I mean, he puts in a lot of work, so does Coach Cunningham, so do you, putting those scouting reports together, and it's really nice for me when I get out on the field.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit about your composure, because obviously when you were a freshman, you were expecting to redshirt that season, and you have to come in after the first game and be the starting quarterback in college. You put up maybe one of the best seasons in Winona State history. You follow that up with another great season your sophomore year, and this year you look as comfortable in the pocket as ever. So where does that come from, that you just basically have no butterflies, no nerves, no anything like that?
I mean, I've always just played quarterback, and I always understand that to be a quarterback, you have to keep a level head. I always just try to keep a level head. I always try to keep up. You know, sometimes I might just, you know, I'm frustrated. I get frustrated with myself more than anything. But yeah, always just keeping a level head and just making sure keeping guys up, keeping everybody up when things aren't going right, and we have to be able to adapt to adversity.
You know, you talk about last year, we struggled up front. We had some injuries, of course, and didn't happen like we wanted to up front. But this year you seem a little more poised, like he said, and also the difference in what's going on up front. What do you think the biggest change is up front in your protection?
I think a good year of experience was good for those guys up front. Also, the new coach that came, Coach Mike Cunningham, has done a great job with their technique and knowing exactly what they're supposed to be doing each and every play. But also, as for me to take away from the sacks, I'm just trying to make sure no sacks are on me half the time. So just make sure that I'm always getting the ball out on time, maybe checking down to the running backs every once in a while.
That'd be really nice.
But I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing everything right, so it takes a lot of pressure off of them too.
Okay.
Maybe talk about, you say you don't want any sacks on you. If you're flushed out of the pocket and you're on the run, and what are the first things that you're thinking about when you're back there?
I'm always just trying to keep my eyes downfield, and also trying to keep my head on a swivel looking for alignment and everything. But always trying to keep my eyes downfield. The guys usually coming back to the ball, they're going deep, trying to keep going deep to take the top off the defense. But I'm just always trying to keep my eyes downfield. If I have to throw it away, I'll throw it away.
Okay, last week we start with the flea flicker, right?
Right.
226 power pass flea flicker. And you get the ball back, you got 2 guys wide open, and found Josh. We knew we were going to run that a Sunday prior to that. Yeah. What was that like when you knew that was happening?
Oh, it was fun. I mean, I wish I would have thrown a touchdown on the play and everything, but just underthrew him just a little bit. But it's fun to know that we put in a play a week before the game starts. We know it's going to work, and it ends up working at the beginning of the game.
We also talked a little bit a couple weeks ago about the fact that maybe some pro scouts are starting to take a look at you. Have you thought at all about, after your career is done at Winona State, if you'd like to play pro football?
I mean, yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, that would be cool. But I'm not really thinking about that right now. I'm just kind of focusing on football right here in Winona right now. Just trying to get wins for this man right here. That's all I'm worried about right now.
Well, you know, one of the things that we talk about all the time is leadership, and he's on our leadership team, and obviously playing quarterback. You know, going on the road now and playing a 6 o'clock game in Bemidji this week, what do you think is something we really have to do as a football team, and especially that offense, to make sure we prepare and play fast out of the gate at Bemidji?
Oh, I think we just have to come out ready to go and come out with the confidence factor that we haven't had yet. I mean, we had confidence last week at the beginning of the game. We just need to come out with even more confidence this week. And when we get into the red zone, we need to be able to execute. I mean, Carter does a nice job for us kicking field goals and everything, but we'd like not to have to see him at all. We'd like to put 6 points on the board instead of 3.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Jack, for joining us, and good luck next week in Bemidji.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, Austin Opfer from the defense will be our guest right after this. The Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub and Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub and Grill.
HBC Sports is your exclusive home for Winona State soccer and volleyball for the 2015 season. Whether you prefer spikes and sets on the court or goals and saves on the pitch, if it's happening with Warriors volleyball or soccer, HBC has you covered. For the full broadcast schedule, simply visit hbci.com/sports to find out when each match will be featured live. That's Winona State soccer and volleyball all season long, only on TV 25. Get an inside look at the Winona State football program with the Tom Sawyer Show on TV 25. Brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Host Justin Barriento sits down with the Warriors head coach each week to break down last week's game and to look ahead at WSU's next opponent, as well as chat with Winona State players. Tune in at 4:30 p.m. on Thursdays, 6 p.m. on Fridays, 7 a.m. on Saturdays, and before every Warrior home game for the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC. Brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show, presented by Jefferson Pub and Grill. And Coach Sawyer, now you're going to the defense, and you have a linebacker with you today.
Yeah, we have a pretty special linebacker here. Austin Opfer is with us today, home here. Both of his parents went to school here with me back in the day, and so it's fun to keep that tradition alive, but comes from Springfield, Missouri. And so first thing, Austin, is tell us a little bit about your journey to Winona State.
Well, Coach, Winona was always on my radar, and like you said, both my parents were alumni here. So growing up, I've been to a few parades and a couple games. But to be honest, it wasn't really like a top choice for me. It was kind of just far away, and it's Minnesota. It's cold. It's like I'm not sure if I want to play football up there. But I tell people all the time I came up here for my visit, and in the first 2 hours, knew immediately I wanted to come here. Just from how the coaches and the players treated me and the culture, and just being up here and playing for Coach and being part of the family tradition has been unbelievably awesome. So.
All of your family has been in sports, of course, with your mom, a national champion gymnast here, and your dad, both who are in the Hall of Fame, and your dad, of course, played football. But you also have 3 sisters that are playing college soccer as well, or have played college soccer. And what's it like growing up in a family like that every weekend your parents are all over the place, and especially with football being so far away?
Oh yeah, my sisters are unbelievable athletes. I consider myself the runt of the litter since they all play D1 soccer, but obviously it's a huge time commitment, and but my parents always managed to make it to all of our games. Even now, I think my dad was just telling us he, drove from, went to Memphis and then flew to Minneapolis to see my game, then had to go back and drive to catch my sister's second game, and they're just all over the place, constantly traveling. So now that my youngest sister just went to Iowa State to play soccer, so she's out of the house. That's the last one. I'm sure my mom's having a hard time going from practices to practices. Now they're just traveling around trying to catch all of our games, but it's really nice having a family full of dedicated athletes. We can all enjoy, each other's, feeding off each other's, when you do well, and when things aren't so high, we're able to help support each other, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let's move to kind of the academic side a little bit, because you're a mass communication major, and you're really no stranger to the cameras. Yeah. Talk a little bit about your family's history in media.
Well, my dad started off as a sportscaster in Rochester, and then by some string of events moved to Missouri, where he got his job. So I started off as a broadcast major, kind of in the same lines. It wasn't really for me. so I switched to public relations, and I'm really enjoying that now. You know, I enjoy writing, and I enjoy, you know, being around people and talking. So, you know, that's been my main focus of studies. And in terms of, you know, like Coach said, he owns his own business. You know, maybe in the long run, I could end up going back and, you know, I like to tell him that I'm going to take over, but, you know, he disagrees with me. So at any rate, but maybe go back home and work with my dad in the family business would be a lot of fun.
But you've been an actor in some of the infomercial things that your dad has.
I was talent. I had a couple claims to fame, you know.
I'm trying to be his agent.
Oh,
Yeah.
He can't afford me right now.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I played in a couple spots he had for some products. I was in the background or talking or something or another, you know.
Well, on Saturday afternoon, you definitely weren't in the background. You were in the forefront. We had a big sack, you had a huge hit on the quarterback, created a fumble. I mean, you had a monster day. And tell us what that game was to get it all going for us, and you were a huge part of that home opener.
Well, you know, I've really been trying to make my mark, you know, get my playing time and, you know, work as hard as I possibly can to get on the field, you know. And what was important to me is that, you know, when given the opportunity, you know, to get snaps, that I capitalize and make plays, you know. So every play I was really just trying to focus on, you know, doing my job and trying to do it well, you know, not just for myself to make plays, but, you know, you can't be selfish and try and do someone else's job with our defense, you know, or else that's how gaps get created or, you know, big plays happen. So, you know, with the guys, everyone else did their job and, you know, created an opportunity for me to make some big plays and, you know, an opportunity for a lot of the other guys to make plays, as you saw. So it was a fun day for us.
Obviously, part of athletics are injuries, and you know, we talked to a bunch of different athletes about how they deal with injuries. And I know in 2013 you had to sit out a season due to injury. And what was that like for you? And what was your motivation to get back on the field?
It was hard for me. You know, it was early in the season when I tore my tendon in my foot. To my surprise, it was season ending. I thought it would just be a couple-week thing, but there was nothing I could do. You know, it's an opportunity for me to, you know, take a medical red shirt and extend my time in college, which I guess is necessarily a bad thing. But, you know, just try and work hard and help, you know, lead the guys and, you know, try and show that you can persevere through injury and, you know, get back on the field as soon as possible and try and stay healthy. You know, my coach always says your best ability is availability.
Yeah. You know, you talk about on the defensive side, and we had a little change. Coach Braun left and kind of more responsibility for Zach Barton and Brian and now Brett Holenka. How has that changed, you know, the kind of the tempo of the defense a little bit with some new coaches?
Well, as you well know, Coach Barton and Coach Holenka are very intense coaches. You know, the biggest thing I've noticed with them is that they're much more attention to detail. You know, they really have been doing a good job about showing us, like, you know, better football IQ and how little things that you do, even like little technical things, can make a huge impact on a play that can extend drives or, you know, allow offenses to score and, you know, big gains, things like that. So just be proficient in everything that we do, you know, it's been one of their biggest focuses. You know, Coach Braun leaving, you know, was a great coach and it was heartbreaking for us, but Coach Barton stepping up and helping run the defense, and Coach Holenka coming back has been a cool experience, and they're doing really well with everything so far.
Okay.
All right. Well, Austin, thank you for joining us this week here on the Tom Sawyer Show, and hope to see you down the line somewhere.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up last week's win and look ahead to this week against Bemidji State. That's coming up on the Tom Sawyer Show. The Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25 is brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Meet me at the levee for fabulous food and drinks at Jefferson Pub and Grill. Come check out their great nightly specials and limited time offer menu. Jefferson Pub and Grill. Tune in for the Sports Buzz every Tuesday at 5:30 as a panel of local sports journalists tackle the hottest topics on everything from local high school and collegiate sports to regional discussion about the Twins, Brewers, Vikings, and Packers. With the Power Play Fantasy Football Challenge to the Rant of the Week and NFL Pick'em, the Sports Buzz is fast-paced and sure to entertain. That's new episodes of the Sports Buzz every Tuesday at 5:30 with replays only on HBC TV 25.
This is HBC Job Finder. Masterson Staffing has immediate openings in Winona, Stockton, and Wabasha for first, second, and third shifts. Positions as sewing and mending techs, machine relief operators, and general production labor available. Pay up to $12.50 an hour. Paid weekly with benefits. Call 507-252-8481 for detail. Email your resume to rochester@mastersonstaffing.com. For a full description, go to jobs.hbci.com. Get an inside look at the Winona State football program with the Tom Sawyer Show on TV 25. Brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill. Host Justin Barriento sits down with the Warriors head coach each week to break down last week's game and to look ahead at WSU's next opponent, as well as chat with Winona State players. Tune in at 4:30 p.m. on Thursdays, 6 p.m. on Fridays, 7 a.m. on Saturdays, and before every Warrior home game for the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC. Brought to you by Jefferson Pub and Grill.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. Coach Sawyer, let's talk a little bit about the injury front. I know that one of the things that concerned us in the booth as we were watching towards the end of the game, Josh Mikas kind of came off the field. How's he doing?
He's doing great. Yeah, he was in, we did our restorative flow, our yoga stuff on Sunday, and he was fine, bouncing around a little bit when I saw him this morning. So really, he should be good to go. I think he hit his kneecap on a kid's helmet, so it was just a contusion on his kneecap, and he was fine by the end of the game, actually.
All right, and besides Josh, any other injuries this week?
No, we did. We came out clean. Anytime that I get a note from Stacy and it says we're clean, I feel pretty good about it late Saturday night when the kids get done, through the training process. So no, it's been really good. Something that obviously has been plaguing us for a couple years here, and right now we're not at full strength. We're missing a couple kids, but the kids that have played the last two games are still ready and available to play the next couple. So we're ready.
All right, very good. Bemidji State is next, and it's an away game. It's a 6 o'clock start this coming Saturday. They're 0-2. The last time that you guys met, I don't even know if I want to talk about that or not because it was an overtime game, but talk about what kind of team they have this year.
Well, they had a kind of a quarterback injury situation too, so I'm not sure if the first kid's going to come back. He got hurt in the first drive or so against Augustana a couple weeks ago. But they've had a tough schedule, and they lost a close one last week to Southwest. And as we know, Coach Tesh and I are both in our 20th year here, so we know each other very well. But they have a good talented team. They spread the ball around and move and do a great job offensively, and they've been known for years here as a very strong defense, kind of the green wave they call it up there. And so they have some new stars. We all got kind of used to seeing some around for a while, and now we haven't played them since that day here in Winona a couple years back. So don't know them as well as we have in the past, but they do have a group of very talented kids.
Let's talk a little bit about your running game, because I saw that you had a number of different running backs that you used during the game this week, where you had Paul Preston come in, you had Eric Berth come in, you had Elliot Cox as well. Has anybody really risen to the top to be that number one, or is it going to be running back by committee this season?
Well, right now it's going to be running back by committee because they all bring us different skills, and depending on what the defenses do, like Jack was talking about, kind of dictates which back we're using. But we want to keep kids fresh. We're playing up tempo. We're over 80 plays a game. I mean, it's something that, I want to have fresh legs back there at the end of the game. And you saw, I didn't use Eric until the second half of the game, and he was kind of nursing a little shoulder injury. But when he came in, he was ready to roll. And so we all know that, what he can do, and we got to put him in more situational sometimes than just letting one kid take the brunt of it, because all three of them are good in different ways. But yet using all three of them by the end of the game and by the end of the year, I think it'll be best for us.
Eric Berth scored a touchdown, although Elliot Cox did much of the work in that, and I know that you kind of had a little fun in the post-game press conference with that. But how good is that to have a Winona kid actually score a touchdown for you?
It's awesome. I think it's good for Winona. I think it's good for our area recruiting, as the kids right here from Winona or the Winona area can have a lot of success right here in Winona. You don't have to go a million miles to school. You can come across town. And Eric was a favorite at Winona High and has done a nice job both academically and athletically to get himself into this position. And he works hard, and it's paying off for him. So, I saw him at the Windhawk game on Friday night, and they're off to a great start. And then, he's on Saturday and scores his first touchdown. A pretty good day for the Windhawks. All
right, and one other thing that we need to plug that we haven't is your luncheons. I believe those started last week. What's the details on the luncheons?
Well, it's similar to this. It starts at noon, and it's a lot of fun. I bring in players, just and interview those guys or let them speak a little bit. Last week I brought in the 4 captains. This week I'm not sure who we have for guests yet, but it's Thursday at the Riverport Inn. I think it's $9 for a lunch. They had a great lunch there. and it's just a chance for our kids to get up in front of a group. It's more about their development, and people really like to hear from the students. And we kind of put them on the spot and pick on them a little bit and have some fun. And then we show highlights like this, and we also talk about next week's game, and we do that every Thursday at the Riverport.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us again this week. Hope we get a lot of people out at the Riverports and a lot of people up in Bemidji to cheer you on.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
All right. And thank you for joining us on the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25.